She may have been born and raised in Alabama as a conservative, and she probably still is. But as a conservative, it is abundantly clear that what CNN's Caitlin Collins is working to conserve right now is democracy. In fact, she's been working so hard at it that she just made Trump cry like a little boy and throw a temper tantrum. And it's hardly the first time she has confronted Trump. She was actually barred from a Rose Garden press conference in 2018 because Trump's staff felt like she grilled Trump at an Oval Office event. Poor little Trump. Here she is more recently confronting him at a town hall.
Mr. President. If you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr. President, back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election?
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government camera.
And right there, you see both the strength and the weakness of Collins. Yes, she is willing to confront people with the facts, but then she usually lets them respond and go on for too long, which many a critic has described as letting people walk all over her. Most of the time, you can see that Collins gets flustered in her disbelief that Republicans go on national television with her and say such outrageous lies. She freezes until she can recover, but that whole time they are allowed to blather on with their stupid lies. So the table may not be her strength, but she is definitely showing more skill in the press room. Here she is making Trump look like an idiot for his famous DEI caused the plane crash lie.
Do you even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed? And you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control and seemingly the member of the U.S. military who was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think with the names of the people. You mean the names of the people that are on the plane?
And then, because Trump gave a BS response, Collins went on air later and humiliated him.
Now, every administration since George W. Bush's has pushed to increase the number of people who have targeted disabilities. That includes people who may be deaf or blind or use a wheelchair. And that includes the first Trump administration's efforts to, quote, continue to promote and support the hiring of people with disabilities and targeted disabilities. That covers tens of thousands of jobs at the FAA, not just the people in the air traffic control tower. And all of this was in place during Trump's first term. His administration even announced a pilot program to help prepare people with disabilities for careers in air traffic operations. That's because the problem has never been about letting in or keeping out certain kinds of people. It's been that there aren't enough people involved.
Still a young reporter, it's clear that Collins is getting better with experience. Is she an Edward R. Murrow? No, but then she also doesn't chain smoke. She does know how to be insistent and how to ask the right questions, and that's exactly what she just did to Trump. Watch as she hangs in there and refuses to let Trump dismiss her, and then watch our little wannabe tough guy, or little tiny-handed dictator in waiting, throw a hissy fit.
So can I ask you a question?
What do you have? Go ahead. No, that's enough. Go ahead.
Can I ask? But that wasn't my question.
The problem is you don't write the truth. So, as far as I'm concerned, I want to go to the next
Can I ask you a question about...
No, not CNN, please. Go ahead.
The White House has not responded to these
I told you. CNN is fake news. Don't talk to me. Go ahead, please.
But he says he was retaliated against, and that's why he was removed from his job. Do you have a response to that?
Okay, next question.
Mr. President,
So remember, it's Trump at the podium here. It's Trump that theoretically controls the room, but Collins is having none of it. He tries to dismiss her with his Trumpian bull feces, but she keeps pressing. And she keeps pressing until she gets her question out. And why does it work? And why does it silence him? Because first of all, Trump has never been able to handle smart, strong women. His foundational assumption is that all women will yield one way or another. That's what he's been taught, and that's how he's always acted and gotten away with it. And when women don't conform to that, he calls them nasty. It's actually an interesting choice of words for Diaper Donnie. So Collins having gotten the question through, Collins having pierced the illusion that Trump is trying to sell to MAGA Nation, Trump completely does not know how to respond. He does nothing less than try and take his ball and go home. And here is where the National Press Corps has always failed us in the Trump era. They fundamentally do not know how to act collectively. They are all in it for themselves. Any basic journalism ethics course would tell them to support Collins against inappropriate behavior by an authority. And it's quite simple. If Trump won't answer her question, every journalist in that room has the responsibility to either ask the question themselves or refuse to move forward until he answers the question. It's just that simple. And yes, this administration learned from W's administration that if you want to turn the press docile, just threaten or actually remove access. And Trump's people have already done this at the Pentagon, which just recently announced plans to rotate out the New York Times, NBC News, NPR, and Politico from their offices at the Pentagon and put in Breitbart, OANN, the New York Post, and HuffPost. So yes, legitimate news organizations are threatened by losing access. And just like no one wants a trade war, news organizations don't want to get into power moves with government. But they also can't acquiesce to authorities' demand to play on their terms. It seems like Trump has all the leverage when it comes to access, but that's not the case. If the large media organizations could learn to act collectively, they can exert power as well. Because in the end, the White House does depend on word getting out, and they need the establishment media to validate what comes out. If ever the media is going to find their place as the fourth estate, it's now. But that would require them to stop looking at their shareholders and start looking at what they are doing to protect democracy. One way or another, that is what's going to be written on their gravestone. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.